New Thought Media Network. We are a global broadcast network of positive music, media, and entertainment, inspiring humanity's evolution along the journey of enlightenment and creating a world of love, peace, empowerment, and prosperity for all. New Thought Media Network. Positively inspiring.
Welcome to Ministers Talking a weekly program where Rev Briz and Rev Elzia and their guests chat about current affairs, world events, spiritual principles, and any old they want to talk about. Based on the New Thought philosophy and ancient wisdoms, Ministers Talking shares a visionary perspective of the evolving spiral called spiritual living. Join us each week as we explore the emerging paradigm of life on planet Earth and beyond.
And hello again, dear ones. Dr. Robert with you over here.
Rev Z right here.
And this is Ministers Talking Shit. It's a Friday morning at 7 a.m. on the Mountain Time Zone. And we are so grateful that you're with us. Good to be here. We got about 5, maybe 6 inches of snow here, Z. It sounds like you got a little more.
Yeah, I got 10 or 11 easy. And it's still coming down. It's light, but it's still coming down. And so I'm like, okay, they're saying we got another 2 hours of this.
Oh my gosh!
And,
yes.
Yeah. So I think they said like some places 19.
Ooh, winter is here, folks. Glad you're trust you're staying warm. I'm staying warm. I got something in the mail yesterday. You ready? Da da da. Open Vibe Energy.
Yes.
That's Rev Skip. Rev Skip's here on Rev Skip's new show has launched here on Friday mid-morning called the High Vibe Hour. It's at 11 a.m. And I was his guest last week, and he is wearing one of these. I was like, oh, brother, I got to have one of those. And yeah, it made it to my mailbox yesterday. So bringing the love vibration to what is arguably a very confusing and strange experience going on out there.
Political landscape, as they say.
I think it's a political bomb crater, to be honest. But yeah, if you want to call that landscaping. Have you seen the 2025 tracker yet, Z?
No, I have not.
I don't know how many people remember this. It reminded me back in the early part of the pandemic. There was a guy that created a COVID tracker, kind of a thing that kept track of what states were having the highest breakouts and what the death rate was and what the death toll was and what number, and it was kind of a depressing thing. But I kind of felt you had to keep an eye on it, but it didn't make things better. It just kind of made things worse.
Mm-hmm.
Well, somebody's done that for the Project 2025 agenda.
Ooh, I want to see that.
You might want not, actually. It kind of gets. Our dear friend Linda Plasters is here with us online. Good morning, Linda. I bet you got a whole lot more snow than we did. And Linda's on with us, and she sent it to me last week, and I kind of took a look at it. Went, I don't know if I want to play with this thing. This is kind of pissing me off already. And then David Alexander sent it to me yesterday or the day before. He's like, "Have you seen this? Something you might be interested." I'm like, "Yeah, I've seen it. I don't want to see it." But
no, send it to me. I want to see it because I'm sure there's check marks in every box right now.
Pretty much. There's some things that are way down the line. It's called Project 2020. So it's Project the number 2025 and then .observer. And I'll put the chat here in the I'll put this in the chat box, and we'll create a banner for it too, so you can see it, folks. But hey, you're being warned right now. You are not allowed to come back and yell at me if you don't like what you see over here, because I didn't like what I saw. And I don't think you will either. So Project 2025.observer. And the thing is, see, like USAID, they've completed all 6 of their objectives. The Department of State, they've completed 9 objectives, 89% complete with their agenda.
Wow.
And of 294 different initiatives, they've already completed 84 of those, and another 41 are already in progress.
And here is the terrifying part. I mean, absolutely terrifying. The dude has only been in office 30 days.
Right.
30 days.
30 days.
You
so
know, and
within 100 days,
they're
on track to have their Project 2025 agenda items, their top hit list, as it were. They're on track to have that completed within 100 days at this point. Now, so it used to be, I'll give the president 100 days, see where they are, give the president. And to me, when we were in ministerial school, they always said, you go into a new church, you go into a new community, don't change anything for a year. Well, maybe that was a little too conservative. But this man's changing everything in the first 3 months, first quarter, and everything's going to look different. And dear Maya Angelou, somebody tells you who they are, believe them the first time. When they show you who they are, believe them the first time.
Have you seen him joking and hinting about a third term?
He put out a tweet that said it's good to be the king. Come on, dude. Don't friggin'. Well, no.
He was at some Black History program yesterday. And we're going to say he was at a Black History program and he made that statement yesterday. He had Tiger Woods on the stage. And I just read something that I'll have to go see what it is, that George Clooney made a statement on Steve Carell. I forget the guy, Steve somebody. I don't watch those guys. But he said that, he wished him well. And that, I mean, it was just like, I got to read this before I make a comment. But I mean, the Democratic Party, it seems, at all levels, at the official level and at the supporter level and at the people that are just at the whims, have just given up on any kind of tactic, strategy, approach, anything to help minimize or curtail this guy's thing. And like Linda said, you don't know what to pray for. It's like, who knows? Well, I mean, pray. You got to pray. This is when you pray ceasingly. You don't stop.
Yeah, exactly. I think that's the call, Linda. Pray for everything. Pray for it all at the same time. Because that's
and all the time.
and just stay in it all the time. Yeah. Because that's what they're doing.
Wow.
They're staying in it all the time. And I mean, I think, and we're talking about this in the green room, Trump's bullying attitude is on full display in the Ukraine at this point. We've basically called Zelensky a dictator. We've chastised Zelensky for getting into this war. They were attacked in the middle of the night. I don't think they got into this war. They're pushing a deal that's going to take advantage of the Ukraine. and he's threatening them with U.S. military. He's siding with Russia. We are about to be in a hot war, not against Russia, but fighting on Russia's side here. And I don't see how any of that. And I'd like to see the Democrats walk out. I'd like to see the Democrats put some picket signs around their butts and stand out in front of the Capitol and stand out on the Capitol steps and strike for something's because our elected leaders are all backing down. Justin Trudeau's running away. Not that he's our elected leader, but our allies are starting to back down. Zelensky's even backing down in the face of Trump and Putin.
Mexico,
yeah. Well, she's been given somewhat of she's been pushing back a little bit, but
she just sent troops. She did exactly what Trump asked. I need more troops, your troops on the border, and I need, or else we're gonna put these tariffs. And I just saw a story last night. They got more troops. They're, and not to say that that's not a good thing or a bad thing. I mean, if we can prevent lives from being shattered, however they're getting shattered down there through that moraine, fine. But the idea that you can be, I mean, that should be protecting your people and your sovereignty, if you will. I don't know if that was threatened. Is what a leader's supposed to do. But when you get bullied into it, because of your economic status will change, that's something totally different to me.
And they're going to call it the art of the deal. Good morning, Maria. Thank you for being here. Glad you appreciate what we do here on Friday mornings. Always a good time. Folks, feel free to check out our podcast on podcast platforms. We take the audio from this every week and cut it down and put it out on all your favorite podcast platforms. So wherever you might get a podcast, you can check out Ministers Talking Shit while you're on your way to work or wherever, in the car.
Yeah. I tell you one thing that really frightens me is that in addition to and I'll have to check out that site on the 2025, he being the current president, has just about filled his cabinet with all of the people that everybody was railing about. These people, Kennedy is in, Patel is in, Tobert's in, Rubio's in. The only one that didn't get in was Gates. Right? Everybody else seems to be in or just about in, right? And given Bondi's in there now, I don't know if that was a bait and switch anyway.
Yeah, maybe.
I mean, and the other thing now, one thing, what's the military guy? He's getting ready to fight generals now. Oh, I can't even remember these clowns' name no more.
Yeah. Yep. It's I've seen it a lot in commentary and other programs and stuff, and everybody's cutting back to a clip that his name just I despise the guy so much his name just slipped out of my head. That you got to hit him. It's all about the muzzle flash, right? It's all about muzzle speed. It's all about how quickly they can fire these things off. And that's why they created, I'm sure of it, why they created Project 2025, or why they're going after everything all at once, so that everybody else's head is like just swinging. I didn't even know that they shot down, that they didn't pass Matt Gaetz. Right? Thank you, Republicans, for doing at least one smart thing. But bending over and giving Donald everything he wants is not going to win you a lot of favor over the long term here. I saw
and here's, go ahead.
I saw a meme yesterday that said, dear conservative and Republican friends and neighbors, it's not too early to stand up and say, this isn't what I voted for. Right? But it doesn't matter because it's too late. I saw another one this morning on a New Thought thread, and a woman that appears to be a follower of New Thought, and outright admits voted for Trump. And my thought was, that is a failure. That represents a failure of the New Thought movement, because yes, we believe in free choice and all the things we say we believe in. And I don't see how a mature understanding of this philosophy leads you to believe that Donald Trump is in the best interest of humanity.
Yeah, see, and it's quite traumatic, to be frank, because all these, all the economic stuff, all the humanitarian stuff, getting rid of aid. I can't. I mean, here in Lakewood, I've been in Lakewood for a very long time, over 20 years.
Yeah.
The other day I was out for my walk, and it was the first time ever that someone rode by in a car and gave me some kind of business as I was out on my daily walk. The first time in 20 years. Somebody felt emboldened to car going fast. They hollered some madness out of the car and kept going.
So they're either yelling at you because of your stature, or
this is happening.
Are they yelling at you because of your stature, or are they yelling at you because of your color?
Or I don't think so.
Or do they just not like the breed of your dog? Oh,
yeah,
brother,
I'm like, I don't think they. I don't think they care for my taste, I guess. I don't know. But
that's the
first time. I mean, when I moved here 20 years ago, this neighborhood was less color.
Right. Now probably more color, right?
More, yeah, exactly. That's what I'm saying.
I can't. See, I want to come find, and I want to take out some aggression. I know I can't, and I know I won't. But after 20 years in Lakewood, Colorado, for someone to yell at you out the window for your color is ridiculous. It's absolutely insane. And that is, again, that is an immature understanding. That's some kid trying to impress a buddy or something. But they're learning this somewhere. They're learning this crap at home. And this has just emboldened these immature youngins to think that that's an okay thing, that's an appropriate, that they can get away with that without impunity. Remember the story a year and a half ago, 2 years maybe now almost, of the kids throwing rocks out of the car?
Yep.
There were four teenagers. They were all hanging out together up in Louisville or Lafayette at a Walmart or something like that. And one kid started picking up rocks and putting them in the car. And the one kid asked, "What are you doing?" And he said, we're gonna go drive around and throw these out of the car." And the one kid said, "No, I'm not doing that," and went home. The other three went out joyriding, throwing rocks at cars, bouncing them off the road, killed someone, and all three of them are in prison for life. because of it at age 17. Because if we give kids the thought that they can get away with crap, they will try. And right now we got a bunch of kids. Right now we got a bunch of kids with their fingers on the button, literally, of our nuclear stockpile, our finances, and our cyber infrastructure. And we don't think those kids are going to try something. They've been emboldened to try anything they want to try at this point.
And as you're sitting there, I'm just flashing back what we were saying earlier about strategic planning, right, on both sides of the fence, right? So the Democrats, and I'm sorry, I'm switching back a gear, but it made me think about this. So it appears that the Democrats have no strategic plan of how, the moment they knew they had lost the election, there should have been a strategic team on how we're going to do this, how we're going to survive 4 years of not, or at least 2 years to the midterm come, and maybe get some ground. But on the other side as well, so they've gone in and fired all these staff members and all these agencies, not thinking, it appears, what's the down cycle of this? I've heard that now they can't, there's HIV medicine and other types of medicines that can't get, that the production of them are slipping because some agencies closed. The nuclear, they're trying to get nuclear guys back. They're trying to get people back to investigate the bird flu, and they're saying they can't find them, right? So what does that mean? Have they just decided not to go back, or this shock up front?
I think it means those scientists are playing hardball, and they're saying, "Yeah, I'll come back. Throw in an extra 100,000 a year. I need a Bentley. My kids need a watch. My wife would like, a new pool in the backyard. I'll come back because, you screwed up. You fired the only people in the country. You fired some people or the only people in the country that could do the job. But if you're having a hard time hiring them back, yeah, I can understand why."
And I saw a news story. Here is how we have to get off this pendulum swing to the extreme right and to the extreme left, right? When I was growing up, there was a mix of people. When you were coming out of high school, you had 3 options, and maybe 4 main ones. There's always all kind of options, but you either went to the military, you took a trade, or you went to college. And all of them at the high school level were available. Now they pushed college. Everybody went, everybody didn't make it. And so now some people in debt. But I saw this thing, I'm saying all this to say, last night I saw they are looking for kids to train in welding and different skills on how to make submarines, because the people who weld and do those things and maintain the submarines, they don't have as many anymore. And so they're saying they need this new fleet of submarines, attack submarines and so forth, but they don't have enough people to maintain them. That seems to me to be a failure, that we have not allowed, that we have to go out and recruit now. Those used to be jobs that people love to get. Paid well, good benefits. Now it's another story.
Right.
Outsourced everything.
Yep. And I want to bring this back in around Linda was saying, I find I must pray for my centering in divine and differentiating conditions from what is real. Yes. But let's not call what they're doing real is my only invitation, right? I'm going to pray every day, centering myself in the divine and differentiating myself from the conditions. And those conditions okay, maybe they're real in a sense, but I don't want to give them much power. I don't want to look at those conditions as unchangeable or unmovable. I don't want to look at those conditions as if they're boulders in the road. Yeah, it's going to take a whole lot of us to get the friggin' boulder off the road, but we can't look at the condition and give it that energy that it's there, that it's going to be there a long time, that it's going to be there forever. We have the people. We have the people. We have the power. We have the consciousness to change all of this if people start to get together and actually do something. And it starts with loving our neighbors, but it also means not tolerating bullshit like yelling at people walking down the street for no reason.
Yeah, I mean, when I look at what this administration is doing, how they're rewriting goals or missions, let's put it that way, of the various department, like they are gutting education department. They've gotten rid of aid department to foreign countries, U.S. aid. They reinstated individuals back into the service who didn't take the COVID test. All right, what, and I'm not saying anything against the COVID test, because I took a shot, and some people, I got family members who didn't, and I get it. It's a choice. Right. But the strain that we're putting on the system, and now the loyalty that those people are going to have towards the president. I mean, because they coming back in with back pay. So that's, if they were out since 2020, that's 5 years of back pay they getting.
But we're cutting the waste and fraud. So favoritism is okay. Right? Yeah. Like absolute straight up nepotistic type favoritism is fine, but
here's my advice. My advice is for everyone. I won't even say advice. My suggestion is for everyone. I've said it before. This is no longer a spectator sport. Anybody that's on the sideline can no longer be on the sideline. We have to find a way to be active in this, even if it's making a phone call to your local congressman or whatever, because if we sit by idly and do nothing and expect in 4 years it's just going to magically change, in 4 years, if there's nothing to slow this train down, I don't even want to imagine what we're going to look like. We got to get involved. So go run for something. Go be the leader of something. Go give a helping hand to the homeless. Do something to create a civil humanitarian effort to say, yes, we disagree with others. Yes, people have different opinions on how to do things. Yes, sometimes you make me totally upset, but we have to live on this planet together, and we have to be able to work together, or else it'll begin to crumble from the inside, which is the worst kind of crumbling, because that means the foundation is gone. You can tear the roof off. I can put a new roof on, but if the foundation's gone, you gotta dig another hole.
Yep. Yeah. Well, they're putting holes all over the place. They're gonna make holes for every. A lot of people are gonna have holes to build out of. And we're gonna have to rebuild US. I don't know why everybody calls it USAID. Are we trying to deny that it's aid? Right. We're gonna have to build the US aid program. We're gonna have to rebuild other programs. we're going to have to, right? It's going to be a long road, but I've been saying this before too. The road isn't ending here. This is not the end. This is not a cliff. This is not global decimation. This is, we might be closer to a nuclear incident than we've ever been before, a military nuclear incident than we've ever been before. But I don't believe this is how we end this story. I don't believe that humanity is done for, and which means we have to persevere. And just like any other conflict in human history, there are those that meet conflict with conflict, and there are those that do their best to meet that with a nonviolent approach.
Mm-hmm.
And if anything, we have come to greater and greater. I think we're farther up the spiral. We're farther down the line of history. I gotta believe we've gotten better at nonviolent resistance than we were last time around. So this time we're gonna do it better. And yeah, some people might be the martyrs of this move of the current rise against fascism. But it doesn't seem like I'm I don't feel like I'm Chicken Little when I say that America is facing a fascist coup, a fascist takeover of our government. And unfortunately, it's not happening in slow motion. It's somebody they've been pushing that fast forward button a lot.
And I'm just sitting here thinking about, I don't know if any of you saw this. Trump was, I have to go back and find where he was speaking. It was supposed to be a Black History Month program he was speaking at. Tiger Woods was on there and a couple of other the new HUD guy.
It's another one. Tiger, you disappoint me. Tiger Woods, you're irrelevant. You disappoint me at this point.
And Trump was just, it coming from the South and listening to him talk yesterday, and it reminded me of all those people who was just boy and uncle, and that's the attitude and energy that he gave off to me. Get up here, all this. I'm like, are you kidding me? In this day and age, people are this he's like Massa, and everybody's jumping, and I was actually shocked and speechless that, unbelievable.
Yeah. Yep. I saw that photo. I was, and I want to be really clear. I don't have anything. I'm not some far left liberal that thinks all conservatives are horrible, and I'm a lot more centrist than probably many people believe, in that I believe there is room and it is necessary, and the balance of liberal and conservatism is I've always thought a part of what does make America great. How are we making America great? By creating only one party. It's part of that give and take was always what brought us to our best. So I don't hate Republicans and I don't hate conservatives, but I got a real big problem with what that segment of our population is allowing at this point, because their silence and their inaction is becoming deafening. The silence from the Democrats, the silence from the conservatives that don't believe like this is becoming deafening.
Yeah. I mean, when you look at, I mean, one of the biggest things, and people, have all kind of opinions about it, but the ability to say we're not going to look at how people work together, i.e., DEI, DEIB, JEDI, I mean, with JDI. I mean, it got a lot of acronyms to mean how do we begin to create a space, a nation, a world where everybody's valued, where equity is dismissed or distributed equally as possible, that people are included, that people feel, if you hire me and then you set me in the corner and tell me I'm a key part of the community, but you don't never come by to see me, I don't feel like I belong. You're not getting the best of me, and I'm not, and basically you're setting up that situation for me to leave. We have to look at diversity, equity, inclusion, justice, belonging, all those things for everybody. Yeah, and so they're saying, well, that's why we don't need Black History. It is. No, it's not. That's not the case. It's like I say it all the time. It's like your body. If my heart is hurting, I'm not gonna get a bone guy to come look at my heart. I'm going to get a cardiologist to come look at my heart. And it's the same when we look at the diverse groups of people and ideas that make up this country. It's like an organ of the big machine. And if you neglect that machine or that organ and you don't allow people to understand it and appreciate it and be able to work with it, whether it's LGBTQ, whether it's Latinx or Latina, or whether it's Black, or whether it's, Asian Pacific or Native American, you are going to destroy the machine, the body of this country. And we got it. We got to begin to realize that before it's too late.
Yeah. Wow. There's too much, again, so much going on all at once. That it's how do we keep up with it? Right? Mm-hmm. And at some point, Trump's gonna throw Elon under the bus, and he gonna get pissed off, and he gonna go play, take his toys and go somewhere. And but I do want to real quickly say before I forget, also, I'm gonna put it in the chat box, folks. If you're watching, is a link to New Thought Media Network's Black History Moments for February of this year for 2025. We have a growing collection of Black History Moments, and that playlist will take you so you can see all. Share those far and wide. Like, truthfully, I'm getting a little sick of pictures of the Gulf of Mexico in my news feed. It's a good thing. Don't get me wrong. We should keep doing it. But let's do it but rather than just, defending a body of water, how about if we defend the people that live next door to us and the people that have made this country great over the years? We already short shaft the people by making February Black History Month. God forbid we should give you guys that extra 2 or 3 days out of a month, 31 days. But let's share that. This is the keyboard resistance, if you will. We have got to. Our friend Linda said she's lived up to her goal of making at least one call a week to her legislators each week so far. Keep doing that, Linda. And everyone else out there, keep doing that. I've got my little list right here, and every time I'm like, oh, I got 10 minutes. What should I do? Let's call a legislator. So, and I'll say I am proud of Colorado. Our representatives and senators are doing a good job. Well, except for a couple, but we don't. She's become irrelevant too, so we don't need to talk about her. And again, we got to stay the course, right? Ernest Holmes in The Science of Mind wrote, "To desert the truth in the hour of need is to prove that we do not know the truth." when things seem the darkest, does not mean they are. When things seem the darkest, that is the supreme moment to do this work, to prove to ourselves that above all, we have the power of the word, of consciousness on our side, that this stuff works.
Yeah. All right. You know, I 18 months will be a bellwether, I think, because 18 months is all that Elon Musk is supposed to have as an appointed, non-elected official. This Doge thing is an 18-month gig. 18 months, he should that position, according to how it's set up, is supposed to go away. We'll see if it goes away. If it doesn't go away, we're gonna have to dig deep and fasten our seatbelt a little tighter, because that means the current administration has totally abandoned all the rules of what currently stand of how the government should work.
Right.
And he's going to be charting a whole new course. So let's, my suggestion.
What do we do to make it
exactly
dark, right? So it's I want to share. Good morning, Wayne. Good to see you. Wayne says there's immigrants in Canada. Yes, and there's about to be a lot more of them with American passports if we're not careful. People, somebody said it out loud this week. Centers for Spiritual Living has an upcoming retreat in Banff, Canada in August. And somebody on a call the other day said, is the border going to be open? Will the border be open for Americans to come to Canada? And my thought was, by August? I don't know. We'll have to see.
Yeah. It will be interesting to find out how, I mean, and I mean, life goes on, right? Let me take a step back and put a stake in the ground. Life goes on. There have been terrible things that have happened in the past, and there will probably be some terrible things that happen in the future. But the moment of the moment is now. What are we doing now to preserve, to protect civil liberties, human choice, you know, the old loving your neighbor, you know, things that people don't even think about no more, as opposed to having political power, material wealth, and bullying influence over any and everybody that you can come in contact with to show whatever. I don't know what they're trying to show, but we the people must voice another opinion.
Nonviolent resistance, whatever that might look like, and be active now, because they've already come for the trans folk, and they're already coming, and they've already come for the migrants and the immigrants. They're coming for the gays next, and unfortunately, brother, it sounds like some of them are coming for your people too. And that's something we cannot stand. That's something we must intervene. Start with prayer, and keep nonviolence in your heart, please.
Yep.
We're going to get out of here for now, folks. Don't worry, it's not all doom and gloom. We shall survive. We shall rise again. The truth cannot be swayed, and the truth cannot be denied. And only light can dispel the darkness. That is who we are, and that is why we're here. So please go out into the weekend, go out into the rest of this week until we see you again, and please be the light.
Yeah.
Until next time, peace and blessings.
And thanks for listening to this week's episode of Ministers Talking. We'll be back again next week with more commentary on current affairs, world events, and any other our ministers want to talk about. And if you found value here, please share our with your friends. Until next time, peace and blessings.